What
Sorry.
does that mean?
It's stuff in the Genecticazoic.
Spielkish?
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
Why is
Hi,
my
everybody.
head
Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. It's Sunday night in Miami. We just wrapped up a long day of coverage of the final day of competition at Wodapalooza. How you guys feeling, Lauren and Tommy? That drink has alcohol in it, correct?
It does. I think there's only alcohol
by the
in
way
it.
that you're wearing your hat.
Sean, I am sober with the hat on, actually.
I know.
Thank
Lauren,
you.
For those of you
much.
just listening to this, Lauren has a bucket hat affixed to top of her dome with the headphones underneath, so it's getting a little extra lift.
It's like
Bubba Gump look.
It's like the podcast version of a mullet.
Oh, man.
Fashion.
All right, well, before we start.
Speaks formal, but you're here to party.
It is. Like,
Yes.
I feel like that's the hat you wear when you're just done after 4 days.
We're done.
Well, I should say the hat. That's the style in which you would wear it when you're just DUN done after 4 days. Julie, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you being here. Okay, before we start, our coverage, as it has been all week, is brought to you by Reebok. You guys can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can head to Reebok.com, shop the brand new Nano X4 that dropped earlier this week.
Get you some fancy new dancing boots.
Courtesy of our good friends over at Reebok. Well, the apologies are already rolling in for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm in the middle of watching my Rams. Puka Nacua just got a
worry.
Going to try to focus here.
The Packers won, though. The Packers won.
No, you need to stop. Don't poke the bear. Let's be nice. Let's be nice.
Oh, come on. You would be doing the same if you're
No, I would not.
Sean is a man of honor.
Oh.
You know?
This man does not wear red and
trash.
gold. I would not do that to him. Because I know how it feels when people do it to me. You know,
I'm
empathy,
sorry,
Lauren. Empathy. There's a shortage of us in this world.
I gave him a hug.
All right.
After I asked him if he needed a tissue.
What's up, Shelly? How you doing?
That's my heart breaking.
Oh, man.
Because of you.
I'm sorry, Tommy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Okay, well, this is the last one. Saw a meme that said J-Lo had gotten 6 rings since 97. Too soon.
Oh, boy.
Chase Ingram got a meme sent to him. It said the Cowboys' last Super Bowl pictures. It was on a floppy disk.
I mean,
It was just,
there you go. All right. Well, we had team competition today. We had 3 events. Things started off really well. I mean, that first event, that sandbag set,
fantastic,
was awesome to watch.
Oh, man.
Not a barbell in sight. Couldn't be simpler. Gave us a pretty awesome finish on the men's side. And then the weather came in, and that caused some problems. I mean, it was literally like right as we were getting set to start, waterfalls on the bay.
I think I jinxed it.
You did. It's your fault.
Yeah.
But look,
take all the blame.
I give the event organizers credit for being nimble enough, to get that, to have a contingency plan, to get it in place quickly, to be able to complete the event, not as written, but close enough, and to be able to keep the competition more or less on schedule. Like, that's when you deal with those kind of like logistical nightmares, more often than not, you're running late, and they didn't.
And I feel like they communicated everything pretty quickly with the new workouts.
It's like being able to, I don't know, you see those little like sculptures made out of toothpicks? Like being able to take one of them out of the bottom and somehow still replace it without it just crumbling.
Exactly.
Like Jenga.
It's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's. I got the leaderboard here. Let's take a look at that, because we crowned champions tonight.
Yes, we did.
And actually, they crowned 46 champions today.
And that's crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
So on the women's side, you got Stronger Than a 90s Trend, and they had a fantastic day. Day 3, they went 1, 2, and 1.
Yep.
The 2 event wins in the final 3. There was a little bit of question about that last one, because if you watch the broadcast, the 2 athletes had to have the worm held aloft, while I think it was Kelly Baker was back on the pull-up rig doing 9 strict pull-ups, and it was pretty clear that thing touched the ground before Baker finished her 9th. But they won by so much that any, I think, legitimate or appropriate penalty that you would have given them for that infraction, they still would have won the event.
Yeah.
And when I spoke with them, they said that was their strategy right from the get-go, that for the last set, Kelsey was just going to hold it like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was Emily was holding it. No,
it was Kelsey. Yeah.
It was like slumped over.
I know
She was
Kelsey
like,
was in
I was
front,
just
Emily
going
was
to
in
take the
back.
brunt of it. And it's also funny because Kelsey Keel is a phenomenal team athlete historically. She did confirm she's going to try to go individual this year, but she said normally the men are in the front. So she's never been a front athlete on the worm. And she's like, they told me how bad it was, but I just never listened until this moment.
I mean, it was, you could barely fit a playing card underneath that. It was close.
Yeah, but it clearly hit the ground. And
Yeah.
again, it was like a minute cushion, I think, is what they had on the next team. And had you penalized them, you're not going to penalize them a whole minute.
No.
And they still won. They
still would have won.
They won by 20 points.
Yeah. And RX performance, I mean, I think, we'll get to the men's because I think that went as expected. But the women's side, there were some surprises because it was really, when we were talking about it, it was Scandinavian and Ice Barrel. Those were the two
Ice Barrel
teams.
6th overall.
And they finished in 6th.
Yeah,
and one of
that
those
surprises
teams
me.
were in the top 2.
A lot of people thought Plus Ultra would do well too. They were 9th.
Oh, yeah.
I think overall, and this is kind of, I think, important for the women's side in particular, I think team experience won out.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Stronger Than a 90s Trend, Kelsey and Emily, teammates on OBA this past year.
Yeah.
Really in tune on a lot of those movements. Kelly Baker, team experience as well. One of Kelsey Keel's best friends.
Yeah.
And a team experience from 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. So very good instant chemistry. You go one below RX Performance. People are like, who is this team? Antonia Falk Kodolinski has been on a team, multiple teams at the games.
Yeah.
Has been kind of a mainstay for teams out of Sweden. Camilla Salmonson-Hellman as well. A lot of athletes on that team with team games experience, and they all just blended really well.
Well, and I think too, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, when you start changing events at the last minute and they're different than what you may have practiced leading in, that's where experience really pays off.
Matilda Garns and Rebecca Vidison, both team games experience as well.
How do you think that the final event specifically could have potentially changed the results, or do you think it wouldn't have? Going from
I don't know if it would have, but I think that again, the teams, there may have been teams that practiced that and had their strategy more dialed in and knew exactly how they're going to attack it. Now all of a sudden you change it, you put strict pull-ups in there, and you heard some of the teams talking, hey, we were just making up our mind in the corral.
Yeah,
that I don't think would have happened had this not changed.
Yeah, but I think somewhere Pat Sherwood is smiling because he loves those curveballs
for sure,
and some of the basic classic movements like a strict pull-up.
Well, congratulations. Oh, man, you got to tackle that guy. Sorry.
Focused on football.
My team is
focused
right
on
now,
CrossFit.
And their defense is like a wall of tissue paper right now. Not very effective in stopping much of anything.
Yeah, it sounds like Dan Quinn's defensive approach this year.
Well, listen, my team's not even supposed to be here right now. So
that's true.
Okay.
And for a good note for anyone who took the Green Bay Packers team over 45 points, that one cashed.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
Make it rain, baby.
Let's go to the men's side because this is where things played out as expected. The top 4 teams that we talked about going in.
That wasn't even a dig at you.
Top 4 teams going in. Yeah, Team GoWad, they win it. That's Justin Medeiros' team. Team Pixel, Roman, Saxon, and who am I forgetting? Jorge Fernandez. Yeah. And Noah Olson's team finishes 3rd. Team Tier finishes 4th. So, no shock there. And then Trace Leches finishes 5th. And they were kind of on the outside.
What the heck?
They were on the outside looking in. I mean, Pat competed.
Milk was a bad choice, I guess.
Wait, time out. When I was talking to Travis Mayer after, and he goes, yeah, we were between calling us the team that they named themselves and SPF.
Oh,
that would have been much better.
50.
That would have been much
100?
better.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Travis Mayer is that pale, but next to those guys, I mean, he looks down right
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he is the most tan.
He'd probably be the whole milk. I don't know. Could be the condensed milk.
There you go. But I was impressed with Team GoWad and Justin Medeiros' team.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
are you though? Like what specifically are you impressed with?
Well, just the fact that these are 3 guys that I don't have a lot of team experience. I mean, Jay Crouch does on teams of 3, so that's good. But I don't.
And at the games too with Reebok Frankston.
Yeah, and I don't think Justin does. Willie's got a little bit, right?
Yeah, but really, they seem to blend pretty well, and their skill set was such that, I mean, outside of the sandbag send, nothing else was outside of the top 3.
Yeah,
just a good blend of athletes. Sometimes it's the right combination.
there's a good question right here, and this is actually something I wanted to talk about. So, and it's from Dan, and we'll go here. We'll get rid of the leaderboard. Wodapalooza special being outdoors. Would it ever change to indoor in the future because of weather? It's a really good question because I've only been here 3 years. Every single year, weather has changed something.
Well, and now two competitions of the off season have had to have contingency plans because of weather. We look at the Rogue Invitational, but there's not nearly as many divisions there, so they were able to be a little. They could implement things quicker, and now this is the second one. I wonder if I don't know that Wodapalooza would ever change it because the location kind of makes it what everybody knows and loves, and being able to compete outside in front of the ocean is what makes it special in one way.
I agree with that, but I wonder.
It's like that old tattered concert shirt you just can't throw away.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably time. It can't quite get the stench off each time you wash it, but it's part of the charm.
So what would make it still feel like Wodapalooza if it wasn't outside?
I don't know. I mean, I wonder. I don't know, but it's so big that maybe you change the schedule so you have a little more open time on when the elites are going, so you can shift things around a little. I don't know. Maybe you have it's hard. Could you move things to Tina Hills maybe where it's covered? I don't.
Yeah, it's just such a small stage.
Well, this one's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Touchdown
on 4th and 1.
Of course.
But
Rams can't stop me on 4th and 1.
But I guess I also try to take myself out of the mindset of like this has to be like the games or Rogue where it operates a certain way. And it's like, hey, we're okay with that being a thing. Like we're okay with rolling the dice with the weather from time to time. Now, obviously, you don't want to put anyone in jeopardy, and you want to make sure you take care of the athletes in the end. But did he bobble that?
No, he got it.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, nice, really slow defensive lineman covering your best player. That's smart strategy. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what they would. I don't know how you would change it. I think it would lose its charm if you tried to move it indoors.
I think there's a bigger argument for the people management overall. In past years, when there was a little bit more relaxed policy around ticket access to each stage, you could argue that it was this mad dash and people were camping out, and it was like, I don't know, trying to get 2 tickets to Duke, North Carolina, where people are just like fighting to the nail for it. And then obviously this year they had some elevated ticket experiences, but there were some gaps in the crowd. So I think you try to find a way to enhance capacity, obviously, if you want that type of environment, and see if you can do it in a way that still keeps it open for a lot of people and gives them an opportunity to see the elites. Because
I think you're right. I mean, I don't know. It would have been ideal had you not had to change anything, and you would have been able to hold these events somewhere despite the rain and have them go off as prescribed. But I don't know how. And look, again, I want to give credit to the event organizers and everybody in charge. They did a fantastic job of making adjustments on the fly, making the right calls, keeping the athletes safe, and still running on schedule.
Look, Ultra Music Festival, which takes place in Bayfront Park, had this exact same issue a few years ago. It was crowded. People were climbing trees to be able to get access and see their favorite artists perform. And of course, there was always the issue of potential with weather. And they tried moving it. And then at some point, people were just like, actually, you know what? We kind of liked it the way it was. And amongst all the things to complain about, that was kind of allowable. And I'm willing to make that concession.
I think it would be a bigger, more serious issue if this event was more serious. And I don't mean to take anything away from the prestige of winning this competition.
Sure. And there's a lot of money on the line. So
and there is. But I think athletes understand what they're getting into when they come here.
I guess the other piece, and this is a longer conversation, maybe for a different day, but I also think of all of the vendors there that are impacted by the weather as well. And I'm curious what their take would be on it.
Because they were more or less undercover. Some of them were. Right? There was a few.
Yeah, I mean, there's that main walkway that's covered that I think they get the benefit, but there's a lot of the ones on the outside that maybe you had to have some plan in place to make sure, you didn't
your products don't get ruined, and but
Big Gulp is cheering for the Lions. Good for you, sir or ma'am. Game ain't over yet.
Ain't
over yet. Okay, it's a good debate. Let's get to our We'll do let's do moment of the day. I think we all are we're all probably gonna agree on moment of the day.
Yeah.
It's got to be, for me, it's got to be that race that happened on Tina Hills in Sandbag Sand.
Oh yeah.
Between Go Wad and Hombres. I mean, that was awesome.
So cool to see.
And you could hear, like, where we were calling it from was at a remote location, but you could definitely like feel the crowd in the headset from the Nat sound. Like, it was loud.
Oh yeah.
And people are so close in Tina Hills that you feel the energy, and the spectators are also so close to the stage that for an athlete, that's got to be a really special moment.
It was like, you know, a WWE pay-per-view event, but in the setting of like Shakespeare in the Park. It was like this
that's a good point. Yeah, right.
mashup of them both. And right when I think I want to say it was Justin and Noah side by side.
Yeah.
And
and then it was Chandler and Jay.
Yep, because Noah was the last one to squat, and he ended up not passing the bag for the transition and just carrying it back and doing an extra like back and forth. And that was a smart technique for them, and they talked about it, and I got some really good insight from them. They were both Noah and Chandler were singing Tola's praises about how he was able to help them mid-event, even in that situation. I think
fit, dude.
He is. He's looking great, and I think they said it in either one of our interviews at some point that Noah was really trying to push the pace. Right, you're racing in squats, so you start to creep towards that gray area. And Tola said, "Hey, man, those last 3 that you did in that last round, we're starting to get close. On 5, I think you can afford to bury them here and avoid the no rep." And in that moment, Noah's like, okay. And his willingness to accept feedback in the midst of that craziness, like, that's the stuff it's hard to teach that you only get from experience. And I thought it was a cool point to see Tola take the lead on that.
Yeah.
And both Chandler and Noah, I mean, Noah's got 10 games experience under his belt, be able to take that correction in stride.
That's going to be a good team, because Matilda Garn is the more than likely the fourth act, because he told us whoever is the not Annika, and it was originally going to be
Lena
Richter, right? Yeah. Whoever's not that's our 4th member, and it was gone. So that's going to be a great squad heading into the game season. All right, let's do team of the day. And I think this is probably going to be unanimous too. I'm going with stronger than a 90s trend.
Yeah.
2 event wins in a second.
Yeah.
Start on the outside looking in, wind up on top of the overall podium. Do it by winning the final event. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because even when we were talking before Wodapalooza, I don't think any of us had them in our podiums.
No way.
And I didn't either. And looking at their team, we know that they're great team athletes. And for whatever reason, I know I looked over them, but seeing them stand on top of the podium, I think was also a very special moment for them as athletes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Tommy, team of the day.
Oof, that's tough.
Not the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry.
Oh, you say I give him a hard time?
I'm just kidding,
Sean.
because my team's probably going to lose too. Right?
Hey, too Brutus. Oh,
I
man.
know.
Just got the shiv in the side right there.
Certainly not the Los Angeles Rams defensive unit right now.
Oh, God.
I mean, from a performance standpoint, it has to be stronger than 90s trend to overtake the lead on the final day. I do think, RX Performance and Team Barine and the Liking Gang deserve credit for
Liking Gang. That was another team that wasn't even on the radar.
Yeah. I mean, that
overall,
2 of the AB CrossFit teammates that were at the games. I was also impressed with how they dialed in on that last event after conceding a lot of ground on the leaderboard with a 15th and 14th to open up today, and just some maturity to be able to rally off and finish after a couple unfortunate events.
So 5 yards, you're going to throw a go route on the sideline. All right. That's a good idea.
Sitting next to Sean while he watches his team play is really entertaining.
I have toned it down a lot to try and just focus on the job at hand.
Yeah.
So,
Nick, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
What do you say?
A little donation there.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Pays for that alcoholic beverage you got down there. What is that?
It's an espresso martini, but I think it's only teeny.
Jeez.
I don't taste any espresso.
I don't know. We're in Florida. This may not be California drink prices.
It was expensive.
Okay. Oh, wow. They're going for it 4th and 5.
But I'm from
first down.
Small town. So.
Super Cooper Cup.
Yep.
Super Cooper.
Man.
All right. Overall, just impressions of the weekend. Lauren, start with you. because you're all liquored up.
Mama's got some sauce in it.
I think overall, I just really love Wodapalooza in general because some people distinguish like the start of the calendar year when the Open starts. But to me, it's when Wodapalooza happens, that's when the clock starts. And it's like, I keep saying it, the unofficial start to the season, even though it's an off-season competition. It's just, you know, a big party. Athletes are having fun before it's time to get down to business. And I think overall, that's just the most exciting thing for me.
Tutu Owl going to walk in for a touchdown.
Oh, nice. I mean, they're in this game. One stop.
There we go.
This feels like a
2-2 for 6.
That's a good one.
All right. I look, this event, and what I liked, I actually got a chance to walk around.
Yeah.
Met a lot of great people.
Was that your first time walking around?
No, but usually at a lot of events, I don't have
Not as
time to
much.
do that.
Sure.
And that's what I enjoy about this. Like, the environment's cool. Everyone's having a great time. You see athletes walking around. If you've never been to this, you should come. I mean, it's just a great party. The rain is unfortunate. And going back to Dan's original question about should we move it indoors, like, I don't think that's the answer, but something needs to be, wow.
Ooh,
that's Brett Maher there for you. That was close. But something needs to be, I don't know what adjustments you can make to maybe help with the rain. But
I mean, at this point, like, if you're an athlete, you kind of have to expect it, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think the athletes know what they're getting into when they come down here, and it's there's just a lot going on, man. Like, it just seems like it's chaos there sometimes.
Well, I mean, the draw is always
in a good way.
Yeah, the draw is always more than competition, anyways, right? All the brands are here. You can do activations. You can take care of some of the business side for yourself as an athlete on, behind the scenes and in between. So
CrossFit fans are scared of rain, Alex. I guess means they got to keep their shirts on. Can't pop the top in the inclement weather there. So, all right.
Just kind of looking back, just a few refreshers, like obviously some strong individual performances. I think Emma Carey's.
Yeah, I think that's the one that was the eye-opening one right there.
Yeah.
Because last year she came off that injury. It was just like, hey, I just want to get back into competition. She finishes 3rd, which was great. Top 10 finish at the games. We know what she's capable of. She will be in the conversation about podium finishing at the CrossFit Games as we move our way through the season. So,
another note about the adaptive division, they had a brand new implement for the first time ever that I believe Kevin Ogar, from what I've heard,
around here.
I know. I was like,
he's right back there.
Oh yeah, he's back there. So he decided it like Tuesday or Wednesday before that in order to have the seated division athletes have something that was similar to swimming. They would have the air runners and they would use their arms while like being forward to get the stimulus of swimming. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I was talking to Tommy Miazga.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good friend Tom Miazga.
Amazing human, if you guys ever have the opportunity to meet him. And he was like, well, I guess I'm adding that to my programming now.
That's awesome.
But even then, talking to a few people that watched that event take place, Tom was a little bit behind the leader going into that implement. Tom, obviously a Paralympian swimmer.
Yeah.
And it was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, this is my jam right here.
Yeah. Those big old wingspan.
Yeah.
All right.
That was cool too.
Yep.
Big thanks to our crew. They're sitting over here. You guys did an amazing job. Thank you. Leah, our stage manager, thank you so much.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Kelly, who worked her butt off, thank you so much. Pregnant and still out there hustling. We're just saying
Kelly,
thank
we're
you.
talking about you.
Yeah.
Katie sending
Thank
us.
you.
Heather, Ava, thank you to everybody who helped us out this weekend. Thanks to the fans who came up and said hi. And
Kirill for just looking handsome.
nice. Yeah,
Kelly's husband, Kirill,
didn't
for
even
holding
recognize
bags.
him. I came in and I just saw this strikingly handsome man sitting down at a table. I'm like, I don't want to stare. And I was like, oh, it's Kelly's husband. So, all right.
We had an awesome team.
Looking forward to getting home, though. I'm tired.
Oh, boy.
So I'm going to watch the rest of this game. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. We'll have a regular scheduled coverage this coming week, so plenty more to come. Lauren's going to finish her espresso teeny or whatever that is. I'm going to get something.
Like this for this.
Tommy's going to drink away his sorrows, and I'm going to go and hope to see
Sean's gonna go to
Matt
bed.
Stafford steal some souls. For Lauren Khalil and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other, be better, and we will talk to you guys next time.